from each happily ever after, every wish upon a star. Let's break down the movies that shaped who we are, from memory lane to now and everything in between. The most famous of films to the ones we've never seen. Decade by decade, all the times we laughed and cried, and with a little pixie dust, they will all take flight, reliving the feelings, and we're trying our very best. And if they mean the same to you, please be our guest. So hop aboard, we would love to have you as we hang with a certain mouth, the whole gang too. If you love nostalgia stuff, we hope this does the trick. Thanks for joining us as we deep dive the magic.
Hi, and welcome back to the Deep Diving the Magic podcast. I'm KJ.
And I'm Jeffrey, and we are back today with the 111th Disney feature-length film from the date June the 20th of the year 1973. The 111th Disney feature-length film is a film called One Little Indian. I didn't name it, but hey, that's what it's called. So this film that, again, Deep Dive number 111, it is the return of Vera Miles and our new friend Jodie Foster. You might have heard of her. And it is introducing James Garner as the main character. Do you know what James Garner has played in?
I did not look.
James Garner was the old man version of Ryan Gosling in The Notebook.
No, it's terrible.
I mean, let's compare films here.
This one I felt better at the ending.
We'll get there. But would you like to start us off with a synopsis about this film that I didn't name?
Sure. On the run from the Calvary, a man tries to disappear while accompanied by 2 camels and a runaway boy. His escape is made harder when he meets a widow and her daughter, who may turn him in.
She's by far the best character in this film.
Which one?
Jodie Foster.
What?
Samantha from Napoleon and Samantha.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you were talking about her mom or
Vera
not.
Miles. I mean, she was good too. She's been in a bunch of films lately. She's like our new
I have an interesting tidbit about her.
she's our new Fred McMurray. Okay, but what's your interesting tidbit about Vera Miles?
My interesting tidbit about her was she replaced Rosemary Forsyth, who suffered an accident prior to the production and was unable to report for shooting. So she wasn't even going to technically be in the
She's
film.
been in a ton of them lately.
Yeah.
Like for a long time, and we just like she like flies under the radar. I have a interesting tidbit about Jodie Foster. I was gonna save it for her next film, for her next Disney film that she does,
Okay.
or maybe here like 2 Disney films from now, because she was stuck on the contract to do so many Disney films.
Mhm.
She couldn't be Princess Leia in the Star Wars films. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel real good. I don't think she would have nailed that one.
Well, there you go. But any opening thoughts about? I mean, but pause on that fact because I'll probably mention it again in a bunch of films when we get to the part. But any opening thoughts about this film that we didn't name?
It is the 78th live action Disney film,
And the 111th that we watched.
and it was also on a double bill with the re-released Song of the South, 1946.
Another film that we didn't name.
The
But
films.
yeah. Anything else? Are you ready to jump right in?
We can dive right in.
All right. So we start off with we see a horse running through the desert.
Preface this by saying this may be one of the weirdest Disney films that we have watched thus far.
I mean, can I start my rant now? It's a lot of things of a Disney film that we've watched. I don't get it. Whatever. We'll get there. And whatever.
Yeah, you have this little Indian boy, and
He's not even.
and it's basically a 1973 Western that somehow manages to mix camels and a Civil War deserter and heartwarming child parent trauma. It's like, what is
But, like-
this odd package?
Like the film is named what the film is, and like the kids, it's not even referenced at all. Just in the beginning. But whatever, we'll get there. There's a horse running through the desert in the opening credits. We see that there's like a cavalry. This is what I started calling them, but I guess that was also in the synopsis, so that's kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah.
We see a cavalry that has a man tied up. But they let the man like walk away on his own um um on his own fruition or whatever. So we also see, so whatever, the cavalry returns to like their fort, and there's like a group of natives that are also being brought into the fort to like be checked on for like medical. I don't know. Were they like being brought out of their land or something?
They were basically just being checked for health to make sure they didn't have anything that would be contagious.
Oh, okay. There's like a symphony of frogs going on outside of our house right now.
Yeah, I think if our audience probably would be upset if we just went off rails and did that instead.
Yeah, there's a whole lot going on.
So anyway, our anti-hero here that Jeffrey is talking about is Clint Keys. He is a corporal.
Clint. Yeah, I refer to him as
And-
the man a lot in this because I didn't know his name.
He has really just, we don't really know exactly why he is in trouble yet.
No. And actually, he's not even in the film for a while because when they are getting to the natives, he's already gone. But we see one of the boys that is with the natives. He escapes while they're all getting screened. He like sneaks out, but he ends up getting caught while trying to take a horse. There's like a big slapstick type chase happening, but the little boy he does end up being able to escape. Um, but he's like, this is weird too. He's like climbing the wall of the fort to get out, and one of the guard soldiers, cavalry dudes, like grab his pants to stop him and see his bare butt. This is the first of multiple times that in this live action Disney film that this boy who never acted again, we see his bare butt.
He never acted again, probably because we saw his bare butt.
But
Oh.
their words, not mine. When they see this dude's bare butt, they realize that he's actually white and he's not a native. Am I wrong? Is that good? Is that a good synopsis? Are we up to date?
I mean, he could have definitely played the boy version of the Coppertone Kid several times.
But he's white.
Well, that's how white he
Yeah.
is. The good one.
But so I wrote down here that we already watched a movie earlier, not with Boyd Butts, but we watched a movie earlier about a kid that was actually not a native who was with the natives. What was that? What was that movie called? The Light in the Forest or whatever.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. Whatever.
If that was actually better than this.
Debatable. But so one of the soldiers who's actually like the preacher guy, like
He
the
was the chaplain.
the chaplain, wants to adopt this guy. They end up naming this kid. They end up naming him Mark. Go ahead. Back to you. Anything I missed?
Okay, so while trying to escape capture, he runs he tries to run away. He obviously, like you said, gets caught.
By his butt.
The chaplain is going to take him in, and he's supposed to be responsible for him. It is Christmas time. They are having a service.
To put up the tree.
He is sitting in the church.
Mhm.
They're singing songs and taking up an offering. And while they're doing this, Mark, because he has been baptized, I guess, basically, kind of, I don't know. He never really was sprinkled or anything. I don't know. Anyway, the chaplain named him Mark and had a witness to name him Mark. He runs away again while everybody's distracted. And this time actually gets out And then our anti-hero again, Clint, um, basically while he's trying to escape capture, runs into Mark. And once again, we find out that he is mistaken again for a First Nations person, and um, he's kind of like confused by that, but whatever.
So can I add some things real quick before we get there?
Yep.
So before we meet Clint again, Mark escapes, but he gets caught outside before he can escape by like a older chief
Hmm.
of the natives who ends up letting him go. He gives
Hmm.
him a bunch of supplies like a knife and some
Yeah,
water and
he
stuff
helped
like
him
that.
get away that time.
Um, but as the journey starts, it's like super treacherous. He breaks his knife trying to cut into some food. There's a sandstorm. It's hot. There's a famine. Like he's not having a good time.
Mhm.
This is where he sees a man ride by with two camels.
Yeah.
Back
So
to you.
let's not forget the most chaotic part. These two are going to be traveling with camels.
An older camel and a younger camel.
Yeah. Rosebud and Thirsty.
Thirsty. Yeah.
What is going on? You heard that right, camels. Because I feel like Disney was just like, yeah, camel in the Old West, let's throw that on in
Hey,
there.
they every single one of our films so far has had animal in it. Speaking of, you know that we haven't had a Disney storm in a long time. There's not one in this film either.
Well, there's one outside, so.
Yeah, it's true. Um,
Anyway, so together this unlikely duo dodges soldiers, they bond over shared loneliness, and they have formed a kind of makeshift family that kind of gets you right in the feels. Like you,
well, first he tries to shoot him, but yeah,
well, he didn't know who he was, and he was on the run and thought he was being captured again.
yeah.
So anyway, they do bond. However, along the way, while he is trying to make his way down to Mexico to escape, they run into a widow and her daughter. And this brings a little bit of warmth and safety to their uh, journey. However, it's kind of unsure if the widow is going to turn him in or not. So at first it's kind of questionable, but then it ends up being okay. And she's very helpful. Um, and he is the next day kind of like dropping little hints like she should take Mark because he's trying to make it to Mexico and Mexico's not really a place for him. And what's the best for him, all that jazz.
You missed the super important part.
And then Jody, I forgot what her name is in the movie, um, goes off with Mark and they're playing with the camels and she wants to ride the camel and I told you, look at that. She has now ridden two exotic animals in Disney films.
But you missed the important part um, before they met up with the the widow and Jodie's character, the little girl. Um, Clint makes Mark take a bath
Oh, yeah.
in the river, so he once again sees that this dude's butt is white.
You were all about this bear butt.
Twice.
Boy butt.
This is probably the only Disney film where we see a boy butt. Um, so they end up escaping together. They're bonding together on their camels. They actually end up getting like found by the cavalry, but they're able to get their weapons and get the men to leave. Like they are able to escape. They end up taking the soldiers hostage and send them on their way. They decide that they're going to steal some cows as opposed to their camels, but their camel blows their spot, causing a stampede, which we'll come back into it later.
Mhm.
Um, um, the man gets Clint, as you say, gets injured, but Mark takes care of him. He like pulls like I don't know, like prickers out of his butt or something.
Mhm.
Now we have old man butt. Who knows? Whatever. We don't actually see that one. Now they stumble across a farm where there's a lady and a daughter. They're playing a piano and they're singing together. They're being very wholesome. But at first the ladies think that the men are trying to like break in or do bad things to them or rob them.
Mhm.
But they're like, no, we're just passing through. We don't even want anything. We learn that the lady's husband has passed away. She wants to ride a camel. She's a pro. There you go. Back to you.
Um, I don't really have one. I kind of just summarized what I had seen towards the end. Um, Spoiler alert, we did watch this in two separate watchings.
Yeah, we did. But
Um,
luckily it was an hour and a half exactly, so you watched it 45-minute increments. So while they're kind of bonding, we learned that the mother and the daughter are leaving the next day. They're not staying there because the husband had passed away and they're going somewhere. I forgot where they're going. But they're like bonding, probably.
I thought it was Colorado.
Um, they're bonding, and she offers to let Clint use her deceased husband's razor, which I think is kind of strange. But they end up like kind of having this like romantic bonding conversation where they discuss. Clint discusses how the boy can't come with him because he's actually a fugitive. He admits that he's a fugitive, um, and um, he wants to leave the boy with the family. I don't know if Mark overhears this or not, but Mark ends up taking off after dinner without saying thank you.
Oh, maybe he did. I just didn't get that. Um, so did we did it ever actually tell us why he had ended up leaving the army?
Yeah, so he mutinied.
But like the cause of that.
Yeah, yes, we learn the reason that they want us to know, and then at the end we learn the reason what actually happened.
I researched it and I didn't recall them telling
Yep.
us.
So they
Maybe
mutinied.
I missed it.
So the reason that they're being chased is because they mutinied. He mutinied and he shot at the officers.
Okay.
And then
so
later on,
but
they discuss what actually happened.
yes. So the reason he did that was basically because of the mistreatment. Oh, they did talk about that, of course.
Later on, we're not there yet.
But he basically had deserted the army because of the mistreatment of the First Nation peoples.
Yeah.
So we basically find out that this whole time we did not know he had a moral compass. We just knew he was a lawbreaker of some sort.
Yeah.
And this entire time he is giving like reluctant dad energy as he keeps bonding and spending more time with Mark.
It's true. And then one day he'll recount his life to his don't remember love interest in the notebook. But that's not. So she says that she can't keep Mark either, but she'll take him up north and try to find him a family.
Yeah.
In the morning, Mark is woken up to find out that Clint is gone. He's very upset. He ends up grabbing the little camel which was left with him, and he decides to leave. The mother and daughter are very upset. They're calling for him. They're crying, but they have to leave because they have to catch their wagon as
Before
well.
they get left.
Um,
And it's kind of like you've already been abandoned how many times? And literally the night before he tells you, yeah, we're friends. We're
Mhm.
friends. But then he leaves them
well,
again.
he's a convict or whatever. But
I
unfortunately,
didn't understand
in a
that.
typical Disney movie, at the same exact time, the cavalry arrives for the man and for Mark. Mark sees this and takes off again.
Yeah.
The ladies lie to them, to the cavalry, that say that he went north, but they end up like finding the trail. Something that I don't quite understand is that like the native chief ends up like helping these guys a bunch, even though he's the one that like helped him get out. It comes back to play later or whatever. He's like a tracker.
He is, but I think he's only doing it for his own freedom. But I think he also has a moral compass and is trying to help. Because at one point, I felt like he was kind of trying to lead them astray.
Yeah, I mean we'll get there. So the ladies have to leave, like we said. They can't find Mark. They're upset, but we see that Mark is like quite far away up on like a mountain cliff, watching them leave. But then at the same time, we see Clint, in typical fashion, is struggling with his camel, trying to get out. The camel is not having it.
Rosebud.
Rosebud.
Rosie.
So he decides that he's going to flee the cavalry because he sees them coming. Without the camel, he just goes. There's more slapstick hijinks. There's a whole chase. Um, that night, Mark is sleeping, and he gets woken up by the little camel Thirsty, and we see that Mark has found him,
Hmm.
and he like admits to what happened. He apologizes.
Yeah.
So then Mark is like, well, let's go to Cheyenne because Cheyenne will be able to hide us, but Mark doesn't believe him. He's like, that's not going to happen. I'm a convict or whatever.
He probably also doesn't want to get them in trouble in case they come across the military again. If you think about it, because obviously that's the reason why he left in the first place. So,
But unfortunately, at the same time, the cavalry has them surrounded. There's a fight that commences. Clint is captured, but this time Mark escapes as opposed Mark leaves Clint as opposed to Clint leaving Mark. He escapes on a camel.
mhm,
We also that night or next scene we see that Clint is locked in a jail cell,
mhm,
and the cavalry is building gallows, like because their orders are to hang him.
mhm.
Again, I mean, the next film we're gonna watch has something to do with the hanging too, but that's just wild. The Disney film, but next film they're watching is also animated and it has a hanging. But that's
Fantastic. How
we
morbid.
haven't even watched it yet, but I already know about it because I've watched it a million times in my lifetime. But um, so they're building the gallows, but then like the like superior military leader guy, like I don't know if he's like the general or the corporal or whatever shows up, and he's not pleased about it.
Mhm.
Um, this is where they like question Clint, and he tells
Explains
them
what he did.
what actually happened. You
Yes,
mentioned
we
earlier.
have some courtroom drama. Him defending his case.
Says that he was actually trying to help. So this is where the superior is like, look, if this is going to happen, this is all on you. The military does not back this anymore. You are solely responsible for this hanging. But if you're going to hang him, do it. So they ready the gallows.
Which at
Uh,
that point is when he explained, like, I only stepped in once women and children started to be harmed. I did not agree with this anymore.
so they ready the gallows, which I think is crazy because whatever, an hour before they were very God-fearing, and now they're trying to murder a man. But um, the
True.
speaking of them being God-fearing, he talks to the preacher man from earlier, the chaplain, and he mentions Mark, and the guy's like, "Mark, that's the guy I adopted." And then they have a conversation about it, much to each other's shock. The chaplain promises to find the boy no matter what. It's time for the gallows have arrived. Um, this I wrote down here. This film has a hanging and a bear boy butt, so it's an interesting Disney film. Um, but then at the same time, Mark arrives back on the camels to he stirs up the cattle, causing another stampede, which stops the execution. Right?
Hmm.
It stops an execution. But it's kind of too late because the trapdoor activates and Clint falls with a noose around his neck, but he's able to
However,
escape. Good.
the First Nations people that was helping track him was also on the gallows.
They cut.
Damn.
Yeah, that's true.
And he, right when everything started to go south, cut his hands free. So when he did end up hanging from the noose, he did have his hands free to help himself, and he climbed back up to get out.
He's able to free himself, like you said. He's reconnected with Mark during the chaos, but the chase is back on. But now
Took back off on Rosebud.
the cavalry has Mark as Clint frees on his trusty camel. But then the next scene we see that the camel has yet again is giving him a bunch of issues, but that's because Rosebud has been struck by a stray bullet and is now his noble steed has been fatally wounded.
Yeah.
Anything on that? Sad.
It is. I mean, we get our Disney ending if you think about it.
The hero.
Yeah. And a mom in a Disney movie has died.
There you go.
Because they kept saying that
Yeah,
like
that's
Rosebud
true.
was Thirsty's
Sure.
mom.
So the superiors call the cavalry to say that the manhunt is over, because they have no intention of hanging a man twice for the same crime. The next scene, we see Clint, and he is mourning the loss of his noble steed, and the preacher man, the chaplain, arrives to tell the man that he is actually free, and
Because he's already hanged once for
Mhm.
his crime.
and he brought him his things,
Mhm.
and that Mark wants to be with him.
Mhm.
But Mark doesn't think that Clint wants him.
Mhm.
This is where Clint finally admits to Mark that, or admits that he does want Mark, and he didn't want him to get in trouble, but
He
now
was
he's
basically
free.
looking out for his best interest,
Um,
like a good dad would.
and then at the same time, we see that Mark was actually watching, and he comes into frame with his little camel and a horse.
Yeah.
Mark and the camel, named Thirsty, go over to grieve the loss of the original camel, Rosebud, but they celebrate her life for saving theirs more than once,
Mhm.
and they re-begin their journey, but this time they are no longer going to Mexico because they are free men. They
Yeah.
they ride off, and that's the end of our film. And my exact words in my notes were, "What in the world did we just watch?" So tell me, KJ, the co-host extraordinaire of Deep Diving the Magic Pod, what in the world did we just watch?
I would say it's an unexpected, heartfelt Western of odd sorts.
And boy butts.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's probably definitely an overlooked gem because I don't know. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't the greatest. It was just very odd.
As I said in a different film that I liked much more, Jodie Foster is fantastic as a child actress. She is so good.
Yeah.
She is the best part of this film.
Anyway, that was a thing. So, we did it.
Hmm.
We dove right in 2 times to finish. Um,
True.
but we did it. Um,
Give it a watch if you are a completist.
yeah. So IMDb rating 6 out of 10. I gave it a 6 out of 10.
It's a lazy answer, kind of like this lazy film. But yeah.
I gave it a 6 out of 10 because it was humorous in some points.
Yeah, it was pretty slapsticky.
There was some heartfelt moments. Um, Mark's hair really bothers me because I felt like it was like a terrible looking wig. It just didn't match the rest of him, if that makes any sense. I don't know. You can probably see it up there, flashing up there. It's a very interesting hairdo. Um, I guess, like you said, he never really acted in anything else again after this. So maybe he decided acting wasn't his thing. I don't know. Um,
But yeah,
uh,
so does it make your list upon a star being a solid 6?
no, I would say the camel's hump is dried up on that one. Um, so
Lots of camels, but no
so
Disney
weird,
storms.
so weird, yeah. Yeah, no Disney storms, 2 camels, um,
Two boy butts.
fugitive, runaway.
Jodie Foster.
Anyway, um, think about it. At her young age, she's already ridden a lion.
She got eaten by a lion.
Um, she was attacked by a lion. And now a camel. What will she ride next? Anyway,
I think the next film that she is in is the next film that she's in is Freaky Friday, where she switches. But that's a whole other thing. It's a few films from now. So
anyway.
what would she ride then? But yeah, back to you.
So it does not make its way onto my list. So my list upon a star is 101 Dalmatians, The Parent Trap, Sleeping Beauty, a good solid Dumbo, Samantha, or no, Napoleon and Samantha.
Mhm.
That was a good Jodie movie.
Great. Jodie Whittaker.
Snowball Express. Good laughs. Good laughs. The Jungle Book. The Aristocats. Lady and the Tramp. And Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
So this isn't making mine either. This was
Really? I'm not surprised.
yeah. It was whatever. We watched it. We can say we watched it when we're old, like
We paid to watch it.
when we're old, like the guy who then plays in The Notebook. We can tell a story about how we watched this film. But if you are a completist like us, please watch it too and let us know. But either way, my list upon a star currently is number one, 101 Dalmatians. Number two, Mary Poppins. Number three, Peter Pan. Number four, Alice in Wonderland. Number five, Bedknobs and Broomsticks. Number six, Babes in Toyland. Number seven, A Great Showing by Miss Jodie Foster and Napoleon and Samantha. Number eight, The Aristocats. Number nine, Pinocchio. And number 10, The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. But speaking of The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, a film that has been on the list for a long time since the 1940s, and I have this mug since the first episode. Is it going to remain on my list? Because it is currently number 10, and the next film that we're watching, that we go over to November of the same year for, is a film that I told you earlier that I can quote, and I know that there's a hanging without having to watch it yet. Will it stay on my list, or will it be the end of the Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad? And of course, the film I'm referring to is Disney feature-length film number 112, the return of an animated classic with, of course, Robin Hood. More animals, more lovely, more quotables, more having to pause it. I might even make you isn't the right word. I might even ask you if you want to take the notes because it's about animals. But um, uh,
Oh God. Okay.
either way, we are on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
We are on Spotify, YouTube, where you can look at the perfectly coiffed hair of Mark. Is that the right word to say that?
I have no idea.
His hair is just so strange, but the biggest
You
thing is
also
his
thought it
butt.
was weird?
Yeah, it's like it looks like he's like.
But the biggest thing is his butt.
Well, we don't see his butt. Like, we're not gonna put that on YouTube because we're not gonna get canceled. But Disney clearly didn't care in the year 1973 with this dude's butt or whatever. But um, twice they were like, the homeboy is not what he says he is, which we named the film after, which we didn't name, by the way. They did. And then they're like, oh no, he's not that because we saw his butt. I mean, am I wrong? Let's go ahead and talk about that some more.
Hey, little white boy.
Yeah,
One little white boy.
there you go. We didn't name that either.
One little Caucasian.
But either way, thank you for deep diving the magic with us. If you want to send us a message, it's deepdivingthemagicpod@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. Thanks for telling your friends. Thank you for everybody who's watched it from the beginning. I can't believe that we're already moving up
I
to
can't believe they missed their opportunity to name it Two Little Camels.
yeah.
Anyway.
Speaking of things with a two in it, I can't believe that we've made it up to deep dive number 112. That's really wild to me. And it is in the return of an animated classic, Robin Hood, which I look forward to. And yeah, we'll talk to you then. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks for deep diving the magic.
Bye.
Bye.